Before we talk about caves, you need to understand something that will not feel neutral. You are standing on edited ground. History is not what happened. History is what survived permission. Empires do not merely fall, they curate. They decide which labor counts as progress and which labor must disappear without residue. Names are removed. Workers vanish. Achievements that do not reinforce authority are flattened, absorbed, or buried. And occasionally, something survives anyway. What survived here was not a story, it was infrastructure. Not because it was overlooked, but because destroying it would require admitting it existed. Beneath the farmland of Zhejiang Province, China, beneath rice fields that fed generations who never questioned the soil, there is an underground structure so vast, so precise, so unjustifiable that it threatens a belief modern history quietly depends on. That power cannot organize itself invisibly. The Longyou Caves have no fingerprints. They have absence, no records, no inscriptions, no emperors claiming vision, no dynasties converting labor into glory. 24 known caverns, each carved by human hands, each engineered with confidence, each erased so thoroughly that people lived above them for centuries without suspicion. 2,000 years ago, someone hollowed out mountains and then removed themselves from history so completely that silence itself became the evidence. This is not a story about mystery. This is a story about containment. And here's the part that matters now. If history can erase something this large, it does not need your consent to erase smaller things. This is the lost past, and what you are about to hear was not meant to survive disclosure. The ponds that taught people not to look down. For most of their existence, the Longyou Caves did not exist. They were ponds, dark, still, unmeasured. Villagers did not mythologize them. They did not ritualize them. They simply avoided them. Ropes lowered into the water never reached bottom. Fishermen felt unease they could not explain. Animals refused to drink. No one drained the ponds. Not because they were afraid, because instinct said, nothing good comes from proving what should stay uncertain. In 1992, a farmer named Wu and I ignored instinct. He drained one pond. As the water fell, stone appeared. Not sediment, not erosion, geometry, walls, vertical and flat, corners that rejected nature, surfaces that reflected intention. The water continued receding, pillars emerged, then a ceiling so high light failed to touch it. This was not a cave. This was a hall. A hall is built to be used, not explored, not stumbled into. A hall carved from solid stone, with no rubble, no collapsed scars, no randomness. Wu and I did not discover history. He breached something that had been sealed by neglect. And once the seal was broken, restraint vanished. Other ponds were drained, one after another. 24 underground chambers surfaced, different in layout, identical in execution, all incompatible with what ancient China was ever supposed to be capable of. The scale that should have made disappearance impossible. Stop imagining this as impressive. Start imagining it as forbidden. Each Longyou cave exceeds 1,000 square meters. Most rise 20 to 30 meters high. Every surface carved from solid siltstone. Across all known caves, nearly 1 million cubic meters of rock were removed. That amount of excavation cannot hide. It demands transport routes, labor camps, storage zones, secondary construction. None exist. No roads, no buildings, no spoil piles. The stone did not migrate, it vanished. Disappearance at this scale is not an accident. It is a coordinated outcome. And that is where explanation breaks. Because stone does not vanish accidentally, especially not at this scale. And then there is the finish. Every wall, ceiling, and pillar is covered in parallel chisel marks. Same depth, same spacing, same angle. No mistakes, no corrections, no learning curve, which means the first cut was made by people who already knew there would never be a second chance to explain themselves. This was not experimentation. This was execution under certainty, engineering that does not ask for permission. Ancient structures usually beg forgiveness. They crack, they settle, they fail unevenly. Longyou does none of this. After 2,000 years, no collapse, no sagging ceilings, no emergency reinforcement. Each pillar exists exactly where stress requires it. Each chamber maintains equilibrium despite irregular rock layers that should have failed. Modern engineers studying Longyou admit quietly that recreating this today would require advanced surveying, geological modeling, centralized planning, absolute confidence. This is not ancient luck. This is applied knowledge without hesitation, which means someone understood load, stress, and material behavior before error was allowed to exist. And here is the question textbooks avoid because it destabilizes authority. If this knowledge existed once without documentation, how much other knowledge existed the same way? And who decided it was unsafe to remember? The absence that cannot be accidental. China documented everything: grain tallies, tax quotas, labor assignments, deaths. Even failed projects were recorded because failure still proved control. The Longyou Caves appear in none of it. No kin mention, no Han reference, no regional record, no emperor-claimed authorship. This is not strange. This is hostile. Large projects were propaganda. They justified rule. Longyou does not justify anything. No inscriptions, no symbols, no dedications, no attempt at memory. This was not built to be remembered. This was built to function quietly. Quiet construction is not primitive. It is controlled. And here is the realization history cannot tolerate. If something this large was not meant to be remembered, it was not meant to be found. And if it was not meant to be found, someone benefited from you never knowing it existed. Why every explanation fails immediately. Storage, no ventilation, no ramps, no logistics. Military, no defenses, no strategic positioning, no evidence of occupation. Quarrying, quarries destroy. Longyou curates. Religion leaves ideology behind. Longyou leaves nothing. Every explanation collapses for the same reason. They assume public purpose. But nothing about Longyou suggests public access. No waste, no tools, no daily traces. These were not spaces for people to live. They were spaces meant to exist without witnesses. The kind of spaces you build when witnesses would complicate accountability. The question history avoids asking. Historians ask, why were the caves built? That question is safe. The dangerous question is this: who needed something this large, this precise, and this hidden, without recognition, without narrative, without legacy? Because whoever built Longyou commanded massive labor, understood advanced engineering, operated outside symbolic power, did not require legitimacy that eliminates peasants, that eliminates local elites, that destabilizes imperial explanations. This is infrastructure. The kind you build when acknowledgement is a liability. The kind you build when silence is part of the design. Erasure is an action, not a failure. There are only two ways something disappears from history: neglect or removal. Neglect leaves fragments. Removal leaves nothing. Longyou leaves nothing. Nothing is the loudest possible signal in an empire that records everything, which means either the builders erased themselves or someone with authority erased them. History does not erase without fear, and what Longyou threatens is not chronology, but the assumption that knowledge was centralized, visible, and accountable. If Longyou exists, then something powerful once operated outside the story you were taught, and if it was erased once, you are living proof that erasure works. The structure that has not finished waiting. Today, the Longyou Caves are lit. Tourists walk through halls never meant for footsteps. Photos are taken inside spaces that survived untouched for 2 millennia. And still, nothing fits. Because the caves do not behave like ruins. They behave like something paused. As if construction ended not because it failed, but because it was no longer necessary. History calls Longyou a mystery, but mysteries invite curiosity. This feels closer to a warning, that beneath the narratives we repeat about progress and ignorance, there are structures that suggest something else entirely, that the past was not simpler, only quieter, and that silence did not end. This is the lost past, and Longyou is not lost, it is unclaimed. And now that you know it exists, the question is not what else was buried. but what you are standing on right now.